about this business. I love interviewing children. Stan Lee is one of the hosts. He's with us. He never grew up. Spider-Man, how did it come about?
Well, I had already done the Fantastic Four and the Hulk, and we were on a roll, and we decided, let's get another hero. And I thought to myself, okay, but the thing with a superhero that you have to get is a unique superpower. Well, we already had somebody who was the strongest guy in the world, somebody who could fly and so forth. I was thinking, what else is left? Then it occurred, I've told this story so often, it might even be true. I can't remember. But I was sitting and I saw a fly crawling on the wall. And I said, wow, suppose a person had the power to stick to a wall like an insect. So I was off and running, and I thought, what'll I call him? I tried Mosquito Man. That didn't have any glamour. Insect Man, that was even worse. I went down the line, and I got to Spider-Man. It sounded mysterious and dramatic, and lo, a legend was born.
Was it a hit right away?
Yes. And I'll tell you something funny about that. Nobody wanted me to do it. My publisher, when I suggested the idea, he said, that's the worst thing I ever heard of.
Why?
People hate spiders. You can't call a hero Spider-Man. When I said I wanted him to be a teenager, that's where he started. He said to me, you don't understand, Stan. A teenager can only be a sidekick. He can't be the hero.
Robin.
Then when I said I want him to have a lot of personal problems and nothing ever goes right from... He said, Stan, don't you know what a hero is? So he wouldn't let me do it. I had to wait till later. We had a book we were going to drop. And when you do the last issue of a book, nobody cares.
You call them books, right?
Well, I call it a comic book, yeah. Nobody cares what you put into it. So I featured Spider-Man on the cover. And I forgot about it. Well, a month later, the sales figures came in. It had been our biggest seller. So my publisher came to me and said, Stan, do you remember that character that we both liked so much, Spider-Man? Why don't you do a series? So that's how it happened.
What's up, Marvel fans? Welcome back to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. I'll be your curator today. And guys, you just heard from the opening intro, that man needs really no introduction. The iconic, the legendary Stan Lee. Who better to introduce our next superhero? None other than the amazing, the spectacular Spider-Man. And we have from our Toy Biz Marvel famous cover series, all the way from 1997, we bring you a very hard to find, very rare famous cover series figure, the amazing Spider-Man. This Marvel famous covers series Spider-Man figure is special in a few ways. For one, it's Spider-Man. And for two, this was the very first figure that came off the toy line for the Marvel famous cover series superhero line. This was the first figure that they made. Spider-Man would be the first figure that would lead the way for the famous cover series line. He was the very first figure produced in 1997 by Toy Biz, and I thought this was a befitting figure to usher in the Toy Biz Marvel famous cover series line. In my opinion, I thought they got it right. They could have went with a lot of different superheroes, Marvel superheroes. They chose Spider-Man. And we're looking at a beautiful, beautiful figure. Let's bring him in. Oh, here, let's do this. We won't waste any time. We know people want to see this view. Let's get you a blown out shot here. Once again, these beautiful three-dimensional boxes here. They look like booklets. Beautiful three-dimensional booklets. comic books, if you will. You know, I've heard people refer to them as comic books. The artwork, the design, everything on this particular packaging is just fantastic, and we all can relate, and we all can really attest to the origin of Peter Parker and what he went through and how he became Spider-Man. It was a love at first sight with me when I, as a kid growing up, and I got my Spider-Man Mego action figure, and I had Spider-Man comic books. One of my uncles used to come into town every so often to visit us, and he would reach in his pocket and give us, oh man, what to us seemed like $1 million. It was just maybe $1 or so, maybe $1.50, $1.50, $2, something like that, and some change. And my brothers and my sisters, we would take this walk up to our corner store, and we would purchase a comic book and candy and something to drink. And I mean, that was just, being a kid back then in the 1970s was so much fun. And this was the book that I always gravitated to first. Out of all the superheroes, it was Spider-Man. Let's bring this guy down. This is an absolute gorgeous, gorgeous Spider-Man action figure by Toy Biz. You see, they even get the webbing underneath his arms correct. A beautiful, beautiful outfit, and we'll lean him back a little bit so you can really get in there and see. Like I said, this was the first figure that Toy Biz produced for this Marvel Famous Cover series line. And he's also one of the most sought after. He's very hard to find. This particular figure was very expensive for us. He's so sought after, and this is a very desirable figure that, you know, it's tough finding him. But you can find this guy. Guys, if you're just joining us, welcome to the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. Today we have a very special guest, a guest of honor, the amazing Spider-Man. This mask is very complex and simple at the same time, if that makes any sense. I've seen a couple of videos on how to remove this mask. It's basically connected to the outfit, to the neck, but it opens from the back and flips forward, kind of like our Spider-Girl, Spider-Man's daughter, Spider-Girl's mask. It comes to the front, so Peter Parker, you can remove this mask and reveal Peter Parker's true identity. Well, we won't do that to Peter Parker today. We won't do that to Spider-Man, I should say. You can notice that the outfit is the blue is a little darker, a richer, darker blue. This figure is extremely articulate. This is not your uncle's or father's Spider-Man Mego figure from the 1970s and early 1980s. This figure is far more superior in design. The outfit is far more superior. The mask is absolutely gorgeous. Beautifully done. And let's get you a back shot. Not much to the back. There's Aunt May. I don't think anybody owns this figure. If somebody owns this figure, definitely leave a comment in the comment section right underneath this video. I would love to see who has that. Factory sealed. Let's get you a year. 1997. 1997. This figure is over 20 years old. And definitely museum quality. Nearly C10 museum quality. And that's another reason, let's bring him back down. That's another reason we, try to get this right here for you. That's another reason it took us a while to locate this guy. We saw him a few times on eBay, but the box was badly damaged. In some cases, the figure was removed from the box and placed back in. So, and that's a cool thing. The sellers are they're for the most part they're very honest. They'll tell you if they removed it. This was factory sealed, unopened, and it cost us a little bit more because of that, because it was factory sealed and unopened. But that was fine. As a museum curator and an owner of a museum, it's my job to really go out and seek out the absolute best possible artifacts and figures and comic books that we could bring to our museum, because we are at the end of the day, we are a museum, and we take our collecting very, very seriously here at M.I.B. Master Toy Museum. You see the spider, they did a fantastic job on its spider. The richness of the red here is just flawless. It's beautiful. The designs, the webbing on the webbing design on the mask and the uniform. He comes with a fist balled up and a hand that's stretched out, but the outfit, the uniform, covers his hands, so it gives him the look of his hands being encased with oven mitts. I'll get you a close-up of that head sculpt there. Guys, what do you think of our Toy Biz 1997 Marvel famous covers? Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man. Do you have this guy? Are you looking for this guy? Not hard to find by any stretch of the imagination. Once again, it depends on what condition you want to find this guy in, what condition you want this guy in. If you want him loose, I've seen this figure sold loose, and it doesn't cost very much. If you're looking for him in this condition, you're going to pay a little bit more. We've seen him go for as high as $180 and as low as $80. So it depends on what you're looking for. And sometimes you'll find this guy somewhere in between those prices. And the box might have more damage to it, but it's what you want, it's what you're looking for, and what you're happy with. We'd like to really welcome all of our new subscribers to our channel. Our comic book family is growing by leaps and bounds. Our action figure family has always been supportive of us, and we love you guys to death, and we want to continue to bring you guys the very best possible action figures and comic books from all over the world. We want to keep pushing the envelope here at our museum and surprising you guys and getting you guys excited about tuning into the M.I.B. Master Toy Museum channel here on YouTube. I am just a huge fan of Spider-Man. So we promised you guys that we would go out and we would add as many Spider-Man action figures to our museum collection as we possibly could. And primarily because that is just a personal love affair that I have with Spider-Man. I mean, this character is, I've connected with this character for nearly 40 years. And it's just, I think we all have. And Spider-Man is just one of those figures. He's ultra cool. Everything about him is just ultra cool. On top of the fact that his comic books are so awesome. And all of the stories and the tales that he's involved in these comic books, the epic sagas, the epic matchups that he finds himself in against the Green Goblin and Carnage and oh my God, the list goes on and on. Electro, Mysterio, you name it. Morbius, the vampire. All of these different characters that the Spider-Man has come up against in his comic book history. And once again, I am holding the very first Marvel Famous Cover Series action figure, Spider-Man. This started it all. And that was pretty cool. When we heard about that and we got that information that Spider-Man was the very first action figure that Toy Biz put out for their Marvel Famous Covers line, we had to have it. We absolutely, positively had to have it. So we went out and we were very fortunate and blessed that we found an eBay seller that had this particular Spider-Man in the condition, nearly the C10 condition that we were looking for. And we're very appreciative and blessed to have him. Guys, we'd like to thank you for hanging out with us today. With our Spider-Man, this is Amazing Fantasy. This is what the book costs at 12 cents. Issue number 15. You know the routine, guys. God bless. And keep collecting.